Yeah, exactly. Just updating that. And you have to start on it. Never know what's best. How long has it been there?
For like a year.
We have two.
I got one. I've got one here. Okay, guys, you ready?
I only have one extra mic, so if you'll give me time to get to the person to ask the question.
Okay. And Raven, we're on. They give me, okay, great. All right, guys, y'all ready? Let's get this bad boy going.
Up there, if there's anything on the
Miss Linda. Yeah.
I'll just grab yours.
Okay.
Don't talk unless you have to.
Who's got the other one? Okay, good.
I'm running the microphone.
Okay, so if you're in the room and you have a question, which this is mostly going to be question and answer time, raise your hand. We'll bring you a mic. If you're online and you have a question, raise your real hand or raise your virtual hand, and Raven will let us know that you have a question. Thank you guys for coming today, and thank y'all for being here online. We're going to open this almost all up to Q&A. I just wanted to run you guys through the timeline of what's going on. As we've announced, we have our board and the board of Sabor have agreed to merge our two associations. This will be a new association. The Four Rivers Association of Realtors will cease to exist. The San Antonio Board of Realtors will cease to exist. The two of them will combine with a new name and new brand going forward. This is all up for membership approval. So you guys will get to vote on this in May. Same with Sabor. It's contingent on both memberships approving. So the next 6 weeks or so, we're just going to try to be as available as we can to educate everybody. So we've got May 6th, we have a joint association town hall, 2 o'clock to 3:30. May 11th, we have a Four Rivers in-person town hall in New Braunfels. May 12th, we have that in San Marcos. May 18th in Seguin. Then the 19th, Sabor has their in-person special meeting, and to be determined, sometime shortly after that, we'll have our meeting and we'll do our voting electronically. So that's the next 6 weeks or so. It's, we had this meeting 3 months ago, and when I ended it, I told you guys to trust me. We'd have big news for you by the next one, and we got this one in just under the wire to let you guys know what was going on. So with that, I will open it up to anyone that has questions or any board members that want to add anything that I forgot, etc. Yes, ma'am.
Sabor, I can see Abor.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Okay. So I know currently under Sabor, I can see Abor listings and I can see HAR listings. So if we merge, I mean, are we still going to be able to see Abor and HAR? So
Yeah.
like everybody together?
So while the two associations will come together, the LIRA MLS that exists today is what we will be subscribing to. And so, yeah, as soon as this merger is done, we'll all have 95% of the state in our MLS.
That's amazing.
Yeah, amazing. Everybody saves $850 a year right off the bat.
Awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm on the board. I wanted to add a couple things into it, because these are a couple questions that have come up to me lately. One thing is that we are going to keep our own identity, guys. We're going to have governmental affairs here. Scholarship's still going to be performing. We are going to have a voice here in New Braunfels. So we're not losing the New Braunfels, San Marcos, the 5 counties that we're in, so we're all going to still be here. We're all still going to be participating. You're not going to have to always go to San Antonio for things. This place is still going to be here. We're still going to raise scholarships every single year.
Yeah, great point. It's a good thing to note is we're working on hiring a second government affairs director. So they obviously have a government affairs director. But it's been approved that we're going to have a second one that'll office here to service our 5 counties. So that advocacy stuff, we're going to try to figure out how to put the scholarship in there as well and make sure these 5 counties. This is kind of a model. This is a wildfire that's about to break out across the country. And so we're kind of a model of how do you merge a metropolitan with a suburban rural. And so there's some challenges to it, but we've got a great partner in this merger and we're working through all that. And it's fun to do because it's a problem that they're going to see around the country. So a lot of folks are watching to see how we do this. So we're trying real hard to do it right.
Yes. So I just want to understand that this clearly. So members of Four Rivers, once we merge with Sabor, we will join LIRA, but Central Texas will still exist, but it will still be an option for people to join Central Texas MLS, or is Central Texas MLS going away?
We will be leaving Central Texas MLS. Whether they go away or not, I don't know. They're working on what they're working on. We are 20% right now we're a 20% shareholder of CTX. So we will be one way or the other. We will be leaving CTX. The 80% will be staying there. And we will be our association merging with Sabor, and we will be only using LIRA.
So the members will have a choice to continue using both or just use one.
Done. When the merger's done, we will only be using LIRA. Now, our data will be merged into LIRA. So all the data that we're using will all be in that one location. Does that make sense?
No.
They want to still be part of Central Texas and Ohio, that would be something else they would have to go do.
Yes.
Not be something that would be involved with forwarders.
So if they don't belong to LIRA right now, they only belong to Central Texas. What you're saying is the data that they have in Central Texas will automatically be merged into LIRA?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they won't have to resubmit a listing.
No. That's it, and it's not automatically is not a very fair characteristic because a lot of people are working really hard to convert all that data over. But the end goal is all the data that you can see right now in CTX and LIRA will all be in the LIRA database.
And then if they have, so currently if they have Central Texas MLS, they need to cancel that, or it will be automatically, like, let's say they belong to both, because most members do belong to both.
Right.
So they will be dropping Central Texas, or again, will that be handled automatically?
We're working on a way that we can, and I can't make any promises. We're working on trying to get the CTX side of it for free after the vote is done and until the merger is technically complete. Because until the merger is complete, the data will be in 2 separate spaces.
Okay.
So, but until the members vote to approve the deal, it's hard to move on to the next step. The next step would be, hey, we're not going to make you pay for both.
Okay.
So that's all kind of a little open-ended and we'll figure it out over the next couple of months.
Okay.
The goal is to all of us myself included, to quit paying for 2 MLSs ASAP.
Right.
But that's still a couple of months away. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I have actually 2 questions, but I want to follow up on that. So currently we have a lot of us San Marcos agents have Austin. Mm-hmm. And I know Austin shares with San Antonio, but Austin doesn't share a lot of stuff with San Antonio, namely documents.
Yes.
And so is there going to be any change in that? Or am
Great
I gonna have to provide all the documents to everybody that in Austin that comes to see my house or see my listings?
That's a good question. I'm gonna have to do some research on that.
Okay,
I wasn't aware of that.
because, yeah, that's.
I don't use Austin.
Yeah, well, it's Sabor right now doesn't get Austin because
Yeah.
I have to provide it to Sabor. And, but if once I'm part of the Lyra or the Sabor system, I'll have to provide it to everybody in Austin. And there's a whole lot more in Austin. So that's one question. And then the other one is, are we going to wait until the end of this merger to do the governmental affairs director? Or can we get one and merge that person with us?
We're working on that. That's a fluid conversation that changes weekly.
Okay, I mean, because you've got some applications in and they might go
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
And
No, I get it.
we're good.
I get it.
So we need to move on that
Yeah.
if we're gonna get a quality guide.
That's in the queue. There's just so many balls in the air right now, but we're trying to get that accomplished here shortly. I'm gonna hand you over to the MLS.
So regarding the MLS side of it, just think of it as that Lyra is almost the exact same scenario as CTX MLS. It is separate from the association. And so as this all happens, there's a transition period of time that both databases will still be relevant. The data won't be moved over until a drop dead date into the Lyra database. But to the point on associated docs and everything else, they're continuing trying to improve that between the data share agreement. Because keep in mind, it's not just Austin, it's also Houston in the Lyra database that they have the data share agreements with. So the Lyra side of that is working on working on those issues. But it's important to know that data will come over, and the whole structure of it's going to be with the member in mind. So it's just not, we can't give dates or anything like that because there's too many contingents. We can't make a decision when Central Texas MLS at the local level releases that data and how that all flows. So there will be a transition time where it will exist as it exists right now, essentially. But that will progress to eventually the end goal of a database that has all that information in it. And yes, hopefully breaks down the walls of the inefficiencies of the current data shares.
Austin, the Austin major is not Lyra, will still need to do that. So you're still going to do both.
Potentially. Yeah, for the time being, keep in mind, it will be a you're still eliminating in that scenario, hopefully that will be resolved by then. Just know that the end in mind is that they do have the member. We all have the member in mind. This whole conversation is member driven. It's all about trying to get to a unified standpoint. And I would personally argue that this is the industry cooperating together to make that better for the subscribers, which is the agents. So, I mean, ultimately, this has been every single step of this step has been about the member in mind and the subscriber. And so trust that there's just so many complicating factors on it, and just know that you have a lot of people, a lot of good minds on it that are working to make it as seamless as possible. And that's about all I have to say about that. I mean, unless someone has a question.
So I was curious,
Yes,
what's the other 80% for the CTX? That way I can decide, well, do I still need it?
Yeah. So the other 80 is, and you guys help me out, Williamson County, 5 points.
Fort Hood, Victoria.
Cool, I'm good.
Yeah. We're good. It's why we were in a little different situation, that the other 4 shareholders don't have San Antonio. They don't have this MLS problem we've had for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Getting out of CTX MLS, do we have to divest as shareholders? Does somebody have to buy us out? How does that work as far as like getting out of it?
It's all lawyer stuff we're working on, multiple options.
Ooh, and then second question, way back at the prior mergers, I know we kind of negotiated that San Marcos would have representation, Seguin would have representation, New Braunfels would. Are we negotiating any sort of like guaranteed representation on the board or on the MLS?
Yeah, so they have a 12-person board. We're getting 3 of those seats. Myself, Trina, and we're still working on the 3rd. So we'll have 3. So we have the rest of 2026, we'll have 3 non-voting seats, and then we have 3 3-year term seats starting January 1, 2027. 25% of the board. Not a bad. Yeah, we talked about it. So we're working on the name change. We have a task force. We're half the task force. They're half the task force. And they're going to start meeting here next week, working on a full rebrand and all that. So any comments about that? We're all ears. If anybody has that magic name. Right. Yeah. It'll be nothing. Yeah. Nothing geographic. You know. So. Well, there's tons. And so, yeah, the cool thing about this, y'all, we were down to about 1,100 members. I think we had 800 MLS only. So, you know, we're merging with an association with almost 17,000 members. A lot of those folks live up here. So this building's going to come back to life. Our education classes will be packed again. All the restaurants at Green will probably enjoy the new traffic, but that's a big part of we just got too small to be effective. And when you're that small, this thing only exists for us. It exists because of us. And it just got so small that there just wasn't any value left for the members. So this is an exciting time for us. And you guys are going to just be blown away the way they operate things over there. So we're excited about it. Everybody here is involved. So yeah, no plans to run anybody off.
Raise your hand. Is this Linda again or?
Right.
Will we have an AE or a director here?
Gilbert will still be the AE, right? CEO and Annalise. What's Annalise's last name? Gonzalez. She's the COO. I'm not certain. I think there was some discussion about Annalise officing here. There won't be an additional AE, but there will be management staff operating out of this building. Gilbert, CEO.
Okay. So we won't have, so who will supervise the employees here?
Someone from management. I don't know yet.
Okay, so, you know, one of the things, if you don't mind, one of the things that was critically important to this group and to our association was to have having a presence in all of our communities. I mean, and that through advocacy was, so that is a government affairs, that's TREPAC, and some of the other activities. You know, scholarship's not part of the advocacy, but it's still part of what we do in our communities. And so as realtors being involved, there is no limitation for us taking charge of what goes on in our communities, whether it's Seguin, San Marcos, Lockhart, Gonzales, or New Braunfels. We still are the factor that determines how much involvement goes on in your community. So whether it's a scholarship committee or some other sort of committee or something like that, we still have the right to do that stuff. Okay. So let's don't lose fact of it. The fact is that we're the ones that make the difference. So if we're going to have these committees and these participations in the government affairs, we still have to get involved. So participating is critically important.
Yeah, that's in this process, that's been mentioned as what we do best, our local advocacy. And so they're excited about us showing them how good we do it. The exciting thing for me is all of our committees, all of our board, everybody that's been trying to get sponsors and all that, we've just worn everybody out. This new energy, now when you're going to pitch somebody to sponsor a class or whatever's going on at the association, you know, the days of them coming and doing all that work and 9 people showing up, that's just not going to be the case anymore. So it's just going to bring a whole new energy, a whole new opportunity. You know, we've bled a lot of our membership over there to Sabor. And so there's a ton of folks that live up here, that live all around the lake, that have disassociated from us. And I think the local advocacy stuff is just going to be that much improved. I'm excited about it.
That's it. That's what I want to parlay off of, if you don't mind, is that we have a lot of, as you all know, we have a lot of members that either pick Four Rivers or pick Sabor because they just don't want to pay those double dues. This allows everybody to do that. So a lot of the people that were choosing to only use Sabor were not coming to events here. So we're going to have a lot of our local people that were Sabor only coming back here. And that will make a difference. And energy creates momentum, and momentum creates, you know, a force. And that is what part of this merger is all about.
And government affairs folks, when you're setting up meetings, it's, hey, I'm government affairs of a couple thousand members. Now that's Sabor with 18,000 members. That's a whole different phone call. Well, it's probably just for sure.
So are we gonna make any effort? Are we gonna make any effort to bring the people that left to go to Austin back?
Yeah,
So
for sure.
How's that gonna work?
We'll get into that. There's strategy being discussed, and part of that is wait till y'all see the marketing team that we're gonna have now. It's impressive the stuff they can put out. So yeah, it's no secret that San Antonio and Austin, they're fighting each other for members. So I think there'll be a plan put out here pretty soon. And I don't think that's going to stop anywhere. I think everyone in the state it's grow time. It's merger time. You know, we just happen to be on the front end of it.
So those of us in the far eastern counties like Gonzales, will Sabor actually be accepting us? Because at one point in time, Gonzales County was not a part of Sabor. So will that come with the merger?
It's funny when they sent the agreement over, y'all accidentally got left out. And I was like, hey, we're gonna have to put Gonzales in here, right? They're like, oh, it was totally a mistake. But yeah, yes, your GA committee.
I'm not asking about that committee. I'm going to get off of that at one
No,
point
you're
in
not.
time
You're
or
not
not.
getting off of
But
it.
is my county going to that?
Yes. No, and you guys.
And where do we fall? I mean, I know this is going to become a decision for our pocketbooks to make the decision between Lyra and Central Texas, but there's so many of us that also go farther east from there as well. And you have that
Right.
trickle into the Victoria area. Are we just going to be forced to make the decision between the two MLSs or carry the M2?
Well, you're going to carry one less than you are now. If you're carrying Victoria, San Antonio, and CTX, you're going to probably.
No, Victoria's merged into CTX.
The contractually, the newly named entity that we're merging, that's all forming here, will still have the ability to sell Central Texas MLS. So if that doesn't resolve from a standpoint of, I mean, keep in mind the name of the game in the state and across the country is mergers of MLSs. And from a very high level, think about it from this standpoint is that one of the huge reasons that the mergers are occurring at the MLS level and that databases is because that completely changes the ability for MLSs to negotiate and protect your data. That's one of the most paramount things that maybe doesn't get discussed enough about this is that the license agreements that get signed with all the public facing search sites, with all the other vendors that use our data has been exploited for a very long time. And the only really way to be able to actually manage and take care of that is and actually reshape those agreements, especially with how it's reshaping with AI and acceptable use of our information in AI and so forth, is centered around this negotiation that's going to be happening with hopefully more unified MLS discussions. So that's one of the things that's extremely important on this. But to the point being is we cannot control what Victoria does, but it should be an invitation that like, hey, everybody is going to have an option to, this is a very inclusive conversation. It's just a matter of we can't make a decision for any of those local associations about what occurs. That's that's for them to decide. So if you have people there, like this is the perfect grassroots time to open those discussions about, hey, how do we cooperate better about MLS? How do we cooperate about that amongst associations? So I'd love to just be like, oh yeah, it's going to solve all the problems. No, it's just steps and steps in the right direction. So hopefully that
Also, just wanted to let you all know that this makes us the 10th largest MLS in the nation at this merger. So we are, I mean, this is a significant move in the right direction. So I think everybody, you know, that's a pretty big deal when we're working with things.
So we recently had that situation with Realtor.com Plus or whatever, and that's with CTX. I don't know is that going to carry over?
It's the Realtor.com Plus will go out nationwide. It
Okay.
was just being beta tested with CTX.
Are we going to have access immediately, or is it going to be like coming about?
I'll have to check on that and see. As long as it's months and months until we'll be able to wrap up the CTX partnership. So it'll always be there. I will tell you the CTX Plus is going to have paid add-ons. We were told it was this free great thing, and it is great while it's free, but it's not going to be free forever. But that's the exciting part about this, y'all. Since they sold our website 25 years ago, everything that's happened to us has taken our power away and given it to somebody else. And this is great because it saves us all $800 a year on MLS, but this is a bigger move than that. This is a nationwide move for the agents to take our power back. Our power is our data. That's everything. We gave it away, and now we're reaping the benefits of that. And this is a step in the other direction. This has to do with the settlement and all the things that have gone on over the last 25 years. And we realized, hey, we can't be effective as 700 people here, 900 there, 1,800 there. We've got to have a more collective voice. And that's why you see the things going on. The pendulum has come up from the day they sold Realtor.com. We went all the way out here and we just started coming back. So this next 5, 10, 15 years is going to be an exciting time. It's a great time to be in the business.
Hey, Wes.
Yeah.
So just for you brokers, we have this printout. If you will, please take this back to your office. We have town halls set up in Seguin and in San Marcos, and we're going to have one here in New Braunfels. San Antonio and Four Rivers have a combined Zoom meeting on the May 6th. So if you don't mind, have your agents come to our town halls. Okay, we're going to do this very same thing in Seguin, in San Marcos, here at the New Braunfels office and on Zoom.
Just that either or, whoever their board members with.
Yeah, and you can, yeah, absolutely. You can come to any of these. We wanted to reach out and come to each one of these communities so you don't feel like everybody has to come to the board office to get stuff done. So if you don't mind, take this back to your office and let your agents know, because we want everybody to have the same information that you all are getting right here.
You scan that code.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait on. What is the QR?
They can't hear anything. Sorry.
Hey guys, what you need to do is go to the Four Rivers calendar. Go to the calendar, and whatever date you want to attend, you can click on the link and register from there. Okay.
And please tell your people in your office.
We have a question. How we approach anywhere about merging with them over
ABOR did we approach him? I don't know if we technically approached him. We've talked to everybody, taken everyone's temperature in the state. This is the only one that made any sense. ABOR didn't have any interest in working with us. What time is it? Can we cut early?
Does anybody online have any questions you can unmute and ask?
Yeah.
Speak up, please.
Yeah, I have a question. Can you
Go
hear
ahead.
me?
Yeah, we hear you good.
So I am currently, my board is Four Rivers, but also I'm a part of ABOR as well. ABOR enables me, by the way, I'm a agent with Century 21 Randall Morris. So I'm with ABOR with and I'm with CTX. When CTX folds into SABOR or vice versa, am I automatically going to be a member of that MLS? And will I be paying fees to this new MLS? Like, how will it work as an agent?
You will be automatically rolled into the new Realtor Association, but there you won't. You can join. You can subscribe to Lyra MLS, or you cannot subscribe to Lyra MLS, just like you can now.
Okay, so if ABOR, on ABOR, I have access to SABOR, right? When this merger happens, will I have access to the new merged association through ABOR?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
All of SABOR/Lyra's existing data shares will remain.
But CTX didn't have a data.
You will now have that. The two entities, the two associations that are merging to become one are one thing. The Lyra MLS is staying exactly the same. That's still something you can subscribe to. Now, and we'll add our data when the merger is completed. The question was about the system.
Get to you, please, before the questions. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Linda, ask it again.
I just assume that Lyra is going to continue with the same system that is not Matrix.
Has that been announced?
Yeah, I mean,
Is committed to
do both.
Yeah, the intent is to offer options at the Lyra level that the front end that you like to use, you get to use. So Matrix, like right now we use the totality, which was Core Logic. It's called Matrix, right? We all call it Matrix. And they use Connect MLS by Dyna Connections. So the intent is a user selects which option they would like to use for their front end of choice. So
I think it's on the broker's left.
Yeah, that all has to get hashed out. These vendors all have to come together. Contracts have to get figured out. But at least I would just say that I wouldn't go committing that to all the ages right now because those things are not set in stone. But that is, keep in mind, Matrix, what we use at Central Texas and for that subscription right now is used by the vast majority of associations across the country, not just Texas. So the goal for Lyra has made it very public that this is an option to grow and be an option for everybody. for all associations that want to participate in this and create and continue to operate their local associations. So that to do so, they're going to want to have the most options available. And the intent is to have a front end of choice. When that goes through and all this, those are all the little details that just get hashed out as you bring this together. So it's in there. So
Yeah, go ahead. Sabor shares data with Houston, Austin, and Metrics, is it, or Metrotex or whatever it is?
North Texas Realty Network, well, not yet.
Let's go.
We have a question.
Yeah, so going back to the supplements or associated docs, I work in Coastal Bend, MLS. We have no problems in getting the reciprocal data from HAR, and agents in HAR can see all of our stuff. It just doesn't happen in San Antonio. Why is there a push to get LIRA to move to Matrix so that we don't have that issue anymore?
Well, it's like we love Matrix, right? Everyone loves Matrix. In San Antonio, they love Connect MLS, and so they're
until they get Matrix.
You're exactly right. It's a vendor to vendor issue at the moment. It's just something that will get solved as they improve that data share. I'm certain. So hopefully that the thing about that is ultimately that's a LIRA question. But from the conversations that we've having say is like they obviously want to make it the best as possible, and they're working on all these little things. So hopefully that answers your question. And as LIRA brings in, if that's the path that it goes, because keep in mind there's other MLS vendors, there could be a multitude of options. If you want to use Paragon, I have no idea why you would want to, but if that was your thing,
Rockport,
Navica. Yeah, we had that not too long ago for, as those go on and improve as these things consolidate, there will be, I guarantee you, a push to making and facilitating a better flow of information. And keep in mind that these consolidations don't just this isn't like, oh, it just happened right here for this instance. No, this discussion is happening across the country and across the state for the reasons we already said. We have to cooperate with each other about our MLS services and how we license our data. And that is best done as you realize that, hey, we don't have to all run our own little MLS from a standpoint of all those. So, there's a multitude of small associations that run their own MLS. Well, that doesn't have to be the case, and we cooperate better. We have better negotiating standpoint with those vendors, and especially the top public search sites. Like they want our data, they don't want to pay for it, and they want it to be pretty much like their data. That's what the license agreements that are being presented right now is. Hand over your data and all the rights to it, and we can't do that. Like we've already been slapped around on that for decades. And the way that the data world of real estate has changed, that is extremely important right now, because we have to start looking at things like how our data is used, what we allow it, what we will let our data, how we'll let it be used. And those are the conversations that are extremely important, and why you need a very capable group of people that understand those agreements. You need the resources to hire the right attorneys. You need the resources to defend your position. That's really hard to do as a smaller MLS. So that's. Yeah.
I have a question.
Remind me, I'll come back to that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just looking up the LIRA MLS fee structure, and it's talking, non-members, non-SABOR member fees are higher, a quarterly fee. Did I hear you say that our MLS fees are going to go down with this merger?
Well, not down, but we're going to cut one of the two out with this merger. Makes sense. So we will no longer subscribe to CTX as a shareholder. We'll take our.
All right, one other
All-
question. It's talking here about you have to pay a one-time entrance fee, which we've already paid, and it's $450. We paid that to join.
Yeah, you're already entered. You're in.
Oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I had a question, and maybe I missed this. I came in a couple minutes late, but agents that are only on Central Texas, is there a drop dead date where all of a sudden everything's going to go to Lear? Are we going to do it in phases over time?
Not yet. There's no drop date yet. This will all be completed by the time we finalize the merger, but the engineers behind the scenes are working on that now to try to figure out. It's going to take a couple of months anyways, maybe through the rest of the year.
Okay.
All of those things.
I'm sorry. I'm sure Four Rivers will send out all of those dates once we get there. We're not there yet. Our membership has to approve this merger first. And then all of that hard work can start and be put into action. And so
in the meantime,
we're not there yet.
I guess my question to you was also like for the agents who are only on one or the other, or they're only on Central Texas right now, just continue to pay your dues and just keep rocking along. And
Yes, ma'am.
And things
It-
will
business as usual
Okay.
until you hear otherwise. And there's going to be publications. You will have a hard time not knowing when we get there.
And then also all the data for the agents and everything you have is then going to be merged. Nothing's going to be lost, correct?
That is
The data contributed. All of the data contributed by Four Rivers members to Central Texas MLS will make its way to the unified database.
But I want to make one quick statement really quick, and this is just a statement. I was with both previously. I'm not only with Central Texas. I will say, when I first heard about this, I was extremely leery because I was afraid this office was going to go away. Because when I would call San Antonio, they don't know who I am. They transferred me 4 times and I could never get an answer to anything. I was just a number. And I was terrified that I'm going to become a number because I rely on this office. This is my support. And I tell other agents, if you have a question or you need something, you need to speak to Four Rivers. So I'm so glad the office is still going to be here. And I'll just say that that eases my mind.
Yeah, without this merger, this office wasn't going to be here for much longer. We couldn't continue to survive. We weren't going to be in business in 2028. So we did this to save this building and what we have here, or we were all going to be driving to San Antonio.
that personalized service you get here is because you're involved. And so if you remain involved, you're going to continue to get the same personalized service from, no, like we're part of we're just going to become part of one bigger association so that we can offer you more as a member. You know, the more members we have, they get deals with these vendors and it's all at the contract price. I know Sabor Silk is offering their agents forewarned, just like we are. That's something that we're looking forward to continuing. But really, we've got to get this merger approved so all those things can be worked out.
Yeah. I think just important thing to put on there is that's why I hate being oh, we don't have timeframes and all that stuff. Database mergers are extremely complicated, expensive, all that stuff. We can't even do that until the members do the requisite vote to even say yes. We can't commit those kind of funds to being hey, yeah, let's get the ball rolling on these things and determine time frame, cost, everything else. Until it seems cart before the horse, but that's how it works. I mean, it all those time frames come into how much is on the vendor's plate at the point that we tell them go. At that point in time, they'll come back and say, well, we can do your database merger in X amount of time. But the other part of that too is we still also have to deal with the fact that our data is coming out of an entity that we are a shareholder in. So there has to be complicity and there has to be, a process that goes through. So those things is we have an idea of that, but we don't have hard timeframes. They'll get much harder after we actually have an approved merger, and then there you go.
Just to go back to the necessity of it, we were down to about 1,100 members. And so y'all understand the finances of it, that we all pay $135 a year to be a member. That the 135 of what we pay stays here. Everything else gets kicked to state and national. And then the only other source of income we have is we buy the CTX MLS for wholesale and sell it to our members at a retail price. The difference is what we keep. So think of the numbers, 1,100 members at $135 a head. And then our other source of income is shrinking every month because the CTX MLS is becoming less and less relevant. So we're just in a doom loop there was no other way out of it. So that's why, look, I'm the flee from the city guy. I moved out of Dallas Fort Worth because of traffic. I don't want to drive down to San Antonio either. I'm all about the local advocacy and all that stuff. That's what I lead with. And this was the only way to save that. And it's not only going to save it, it's going to pour gas on it and make us way more effective.
Yes, just a quick question. So I know we've been talking about MLS, but there's also other features. I'll do showing time as an example.
Yeah.
Sabor members have a upgraded showing time benefits than Central Texas. So in theory, not Central Texas, but Four Rivers, in theory, our benefits moving over will be those upgraded benefits, correct? Okay.
Very upgraded. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a can of worms.
Well, but that's just one more example of the fact that this merger is going to give us, the realtors, the members, more, not less. And so, Kelly, for you, the amount of information that you currently get from this association is going to expand exponentially because Sabor's has much more information. On the customer service side, our expectation is the exact same. It's not to say the same, oh, it's great. No, it's to get better. One of the first things Sabor said was how excited they are about all of their members that are local to New Braunfels and the surrounding counties having the ability to use this building where instead of carting all the way into San Antonio. So as they said earlier, this building is going to get a lot more energy. It's going to be able to handle a lot more as far as customer service. We expect this to be nothing but much better than what the current situation is, because the current situation with us losing so much money, we're barely holding it together. So the customer service is going to be much better.
Brian, go ahead. Anybody else?
All right. Should I go ahead and ask?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ed.
Do you know how much historical data y'all plan to pull over from CTX into Sabor? Like how many years back for comps and withdrawals and all that fun stuff?
Everything that's ours.
Check 1955.
Everything contributed by the Four Rivers members to the database. I believe it goes back to 1995. Now the photos might not be in there in 95, but.
I do have a question.
Yes, sir. Brian, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Hey, my apologies if you've said this 5 or 10 times already, but if I'm accessing the MLS strictly through ABOR, will I be able to continue with this new association that's going to be created with the merger? Will I be able to access that association's listings through ABOR?
Can you access them today through ABOR?
Right now, today, through ABOR, I can see Sabor.
Yeah. I'm not understanding.
The answer is yes. If you just want to be a member of ABOR, you would be able to access all LIRA listings through ABOR's MLS. because of the data share that is currently in place. That is not going away.
Okay. Okay. And then, and I think this is because Lyra uses a different product, but I'm sure everybody is aware of the fact that attached documents don't translate. So I could have an ABOR listing that has a ton of documents in it, but if through the shared agreement, somebody's in SABOR looking at my ABOR, they don't see any attached docs. Is that something going to be worked on?
Yeah, that's something, Linda brought that to our attention a few minutes ago, and I'm going to get with her after the meeting. That's something I wasn't aware of. And that's
Okay.
that's going to have to be worked out with the engineers, but it will be resolved.
Okay. Thank you.
To piggyback on the document thing, because I'm a member of ABOR, SABOR, Four Rivers, Corpus, all the things. So I've been through the merger with that one. The documents don't share, which is an inconvenience, but not the end of the world. But I work with a gal in another state and she does some different work for me. And other states that use showing time, she's like, and I don't know, maybe there's people that are more savvy with showing time. She's like, all of our documents upload into showing time. And she said, the second you schedule a showing, disclosures, floor plans, every survey immediately gets sent over in a text to the agent that's showing it. So maybe that will be a workaround potentially to where the attachments.
Showing time, so be a little cautious about that.
Well, I mean, it's still maybe a program like, but I don't know. That's the only thing I can think. It's not the end of the world, but it's just inconvenient.
There's all they call that a middleware option. It could be anything. There's people that have set up stuff that's just like, hey, a link in the MLS that's accessible to agents goes to associated documents that can be accessed by anyone that wants to access them. So yes, but ultimately, I think the goal is for the data share to work right and to work effectively and that to be accessible in one central place. That's the goal of any good system. And so I'm sure I know they're aware and I'm sure they're working on it. So.
Anyone else? What time is that? Yes, ma'am.
So once I'm the kind of calendar kind of person. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to finish with the town halls. Excuse me, I have a cookie in my mouth. We're going to finish with the town halls. Then we're going to come back. We'll probably decide next week on a date for the merger vote. It will come to you in an electronic email vote, just like we do for board members and stuff like that. Okay. Please encourage your agents to vote. We have to have 10% of the membership in order to have a quorum. Okay. So right now that's, Raven, what is that? 110, 120 that have to vote. Okay. 10% of our membership. I think we're at 1,100 now as opposed to 1,900 not too long ago. So please encourage your agents to vote when the merger comes through, because all of the things that we've talked about today, I think that, the general consensus is this is a very, very positive move on a lot of different levels, but we have to have that 10% buy-in in order to move forward. So again, Taylor, who is the marketing director at SABOR, and Raven, who is our marketing guru, they are working in conjunction. These things that you see right here and the other town hall things, they're working on those together. So just know that, like Jennifer said, we're going to inundate you with information so that, if you miss one, you'll see the other. But we're going to call for that vote pretty soon.
Regarding the vote, I'm assuming SABOR is going to have to vote as well. If you're a member of both, do you get a vote from either side? Perfect. All right.
If you're a board member, or you can also be just MLS only. Very good.
May 19th.
If you're a board member.
Right. If you're a state board member, their vote is May 19th.
I don't want a hot mic near me.
Got a question over here.
Sorry, all the questions. There are some people that like to vote no on everything, right? The answer is just always no. Is there something that is being either put out or that we can say that says, if this doesn't pass and the board does not have enough revenue to exist, this is what happens? Like, I hate to be a doomsday person, but sometimes the people who vote no don't understand what happens if it doesn't.
Yeah.
You haven't been anything out yet.
I think we focus on the positive and not worry about a negative vote at this point. I mean, we can come back if it fails. I don't have a microphone.
Here, you want
Oh,
that
was a nice way to say so.
I guess so. I think at this point, we focus on the positive and trying to get the vote to get the merger to pass. If it doesn't, then yeah, we'll have to come back with that alternative information, but hopefully that's not a consideration.
And let me just jump on what she just said. I think the thought process behind that is, if you're playing cards and the other side knows what your hand is, so if we sit there and tell them this is what happens, what prevents Sabor from saying, you know what, we'll just sit back. So let's, like she said, let's be positive about this. Let's look at what we can do to make this better, and then make sure everybody gets all that information out there, and then make your decision, yes or no.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about saying the conversation that we've had with them and this process has been awesome. Like when we broke down those walls, like how do we solve a problem together? This has been like one of the most productive conversations amongst associations and MLSs that's occurred. And like it's all, I know loads of people in this room have been on the board of the association and some for many, many years. And it wasn't always that way. And so this has been very productive. They're all in on this. They're super excited about it. And, the other side of that too which is the LIRA, which sits out there as the MLS arm of that. They are having some awesome conversations as well across the entire of the state, even outside the state. So as this thing grows, that access to what the quality of our database that we access for MLS listings and everything will just increasingly get better and better. And so that's I guess I just want to put on it is like, it would almost, it's silly to think about why we wouldn't, and in many ways to me, from my perspective, but I understand, there are naysayers out on that stuff. And I would just say is like, have them have a conversation with us. Ask them to have a conversation with us, because it's not the negative side that someone might try to project on this is probably just based that they aren't involved in the conversation or haven't been asked to be a part of that conversation. So that's what I would ask is if you hear about that, just invite them to have a conversation with someone over here. That too, but they won't go to the town hall.
Just to follow up with what Asia said, I mean, I think that's a very good idea to let the membership know what happens if they don't pass it. But more importantly, money talks. Break it down. You're paying X amount for membership here, X amount for MLS here, X amount for MLS there, and potentially membership there as well. I mean, I'm member here, but I pay MLS and ABOR and SABOR as well. And just break it down to dollars and cents. What is it? What are they going to save? What's the downfall? How much monetarily are you going to save? Because right now money is very important to everybody.
Yeah.
So you break it down to that, and then I think you get your vote.
I agree. We'll break that down. I like breaking.
Designated brokers in here have to be more in here in the room with people underneath their license.
So will you go over one more time how this means we are more in control of our data and what exactly that entails? If we're more in control of our data, does that mean we're going to be charging Zillow and Realtor.com and Homes.com a whole lot more?
Maybe.
And if that's the case, does that mean, will that redound back to us, or are the board's gonna just get to spend it on wonderful buildings and stuff like that?
No, it's all, it's membership driven. That's why we're doing it. So you guys know, when my objective was to return the valuable to the members. Let me let you know. So, and Lyra is member run. Okay, it is again it's the governance structure of how Lyra is set up is meant to be inclusive of associations of all size on purpose, so that everyone has a voice to that. It's very similar to how CTX MLS was set up, other than it's just not equal, like it's more representational of like brackets of its structure. So it's like large board gets so many seats, large boards get so many seats, medium-sized boards get so many seats, small boards get so many seats, and open seats available. And so that's the organization that's going to be evaluated, and it's meant to have strong continuity in its governance to make sure that it just doesn't get lost to someone that's there for a flash plan moment. It's meant to be structured in the sense that you have very capable people, and you have a very large pool of capable people as you grow to be on this board. And yes, the conversations about the data licensing and everything we could talk for 30 minutes about it. And it's not just charging them more, it's also scoping how they use the data, what's acceptable use of it, and so forth. There's also the fact that's just, you're talking public top funnel searches, right? The big public portals, right? There's also a huge underlying group of data license agreements that are being exploited that we've had almost, especially on the smallest MLS standpoint, no real way to police. How do you know when someone takes your data and all of a sudden it goes into their database that it's not being misused? Well, there's new technology, there's intentionality as you're able to have those resources to be able to police that. We'll actually be able to make sure that they're not reselling our data, misusing the data. There's enforcement mechanisms that, yes, can return money. And those are the conversations that as they actually start enforcing that, how does that help the member? Because ultimately, I mean, I'll just tell you the sentiment of the conversations, the other part of it is the members are the ones that are providing the data that's valuable. Everyone in this room is providing the content into the database that actually creates value to that. So how do you police that and return that value to the people actually providing it is the sentiment. And you can do that when you actually have a much more intentional structure that actually has teeth. And so, yes, those conversations are, I believe it's going to be us making those decisions about how those monies are returned. Yeah, so if someone's exploiting the data and provides nothing to the data set, are they entitled to the same amount of access to it? Those are all the conversations that can happen as you police that. I don't know, I mean, it's just a long way of saying is which run by.
So back to your points about the board, do we have will our 5-county area have what kind of representation have we negotiated?
We would be one association with Seguin.
Okay, but our area.
We have 3 seats, and anyone can apply.
Right, but I mean, but there will be a Lyra board.
Yes.
Just like there's a Central Texas board now.
And
Where do those members come from, and are we guaranteed? I mean, our area.
we will have the equal chance to participate in those board positions. And that's something we all need to be thinking about, right? Sorry. It's a very amazing group of people. But let me tell you one more little anecdote on that. The data is everything. For 25 years, we've given data away in total data. So the objective here is to reclaim our data for 2 reasons. One, we make better deals with all the vendors. There are different conversations that I don't want to talk to them on behalf of 17,000 as opposed to 1,100. But I want you to think about this. Houston kind of recognized this first. When they started a couple of years ago dumping money into their website, HAR. Houston Association of Realtors. Now they're branding it as home and rental. Homes and rental, okay? And they're dumping money into pay-per-click, and they're trying to take the market share away from Realtor.com, Zillow, all that stuff, right? So they've done it in Texas, they're out.
Hang on one second.
Somebody pushed the mute button, this is nothing we said.
Oh, is it me? I didn't know I touched, I don't know.
There you go, I was just holding.
Hello, that might have been me. I didn't know there was a mute button on it, sorry. Okay. Okay, sorry. Okay. Okay, so, okay, meeting adjourned. See you. All right, yeah. All right, so Houston, so this whole thing is they've taken our data and sold it back to us. Houston kind of noticed at first what they could do about it with their HAR.com website. They've kind of rebranded it Home and Rental, and they've dumped big money into pay-per-click advertising and all that stuff. Right now, they're outperforming Zillow in Texas. More home buyers are going to HAR.com than are going to Realtor.com and Zillow. So, a little story about that, and me with numbers, I'm sure I got these numbers wrong, but it's something like the San Antonio guys looked at the Lyra website to see how many customers went and clicked on Lyra listings in the Lyra website, and it was like, and for a month, and it was like 70,000 or something, and they were like, yeah, that's pretty good. Well, so then they went with the Houston guys and went through the back end of the Houston to see how many hits Lyra listings got through the Houston share. And it was like 1.8 million, y'all. The San Antonio guys fell out of their chair. We're like, we're never going to catch up. Let's just join forces. So now what's going on is you're getting some cooperation over here, and they're working on building that website. The only reason they're building that website is so we get the calls on our listings. That's why the data is important. They've built a whole industry out of selling us our data back, and it's ours to begin with. None of this has been good for the customer, and none of it's been good for us. So that's why it's an exciting time, and it's going to be, the shockwave will be felt across the country. Trina said we'll be the 10th largest association in the country, and our neighbor over here, Houston, is 2. So, it's, and we share data. So it's an exciting time of, I started in commercial. And so even LoopNet and Crexy wasn't around, but LoopNet, from the very first day, I'm like, wait a minute, you guys call me and ask me for comps, and then you sell me a membership. I was like, this doesn't make sense. And I've been in the business 27 years. This is a really exciting time. You guys will all be around to say, hey, we were there, that the pendulum started swinging the other way.
I have a suggestion. And I like to think that I try to keep pretty much informed, and a lot of what was said today, I didn't know. And I feel that the board needs to inform people. If you want our vote, don't just say, go to a town hall.
We've been trying to inform y'all, but we've been busy for the last 2 years working full time to keep this place
Well,
afloat.
understand that I'm making a suggestion.
Okay, well, I'm
that
open to suggestions.
If you want people to support and brokers to be sharing positive information, then maybe you could say things like, it will no longer be Sabor or Four Rivers, things like that. Just base information that you already know, because I didn't know any of that. And again, I feel
Publicized it.
I'm sorry.
It's out in the public. Where do you? This is not a reactionary move. I've got 3 years invested in this, so I'm sorry to be short with you, but to say that I have
Stay pretty informed, and I wasn't aware, and I talked to people and they have the same questions. So it's just a suggestion, because if you think you're doing it, I'm sorry.
the suggestion. I'll do better.
Another suggestion would be, because I know a lot of the realtors don't come to this website like they should. I mean, if you were to post this in all the local next doors, all the Facebooks, I think you'd get a better response.
Sure. Yeah. Any questions online? Okay, guys, thanks for being here. Y'all take it back to your offices. Y'all can always call me, text me, email me, whatever, if you have any questions. Happy to keep answering them and keep moving forward. Thank y'all for coming.
Yeah, so I.
You?